Hi, so I'm sitting in a restaurant called Sapa, and I gotta tell you, this is the quintessential New York restaurant. The cuisine is a combination of French technique with Southeast Asian ingredients. And if you look around the restaurant, there are all these elements from Southeast Asia that are gorgeous and perfectly designed. And night after night, diners come in here and pay top dollar for some really delicious food. Do you want to make some? So this is Patricia Yo. She's the chef owner of Sapa Restaurant, and we're about to make her recipe of cocoa and peanut glazed spare ribs.
It's inspired by Reese's peanut butter cups.
Reese's peanut butter cups. Do you have any recommendations for shoppers when they purchase spare ribs?
A nice balance of fat to flesh. The more meaty, the better, obviously. Because there's not a lot of flesh on this, so we try and skip every other bone.
Okay.
And so we discard this bone.
Okay.
So that the next bone now has twice as much flesh on it. We make a mixture of spice powder, equal portions of sugar and salt. All right, now
so isn't that beautiful? That almost looks like breading.
Yes, and it's almost like curing it, and the ribs get marinated. And then you just sort of brown it. You don't want to overcrowd the pan though if you're doing it in a saute pan.
Now, I notice you use what to me is quite a bit of oil in there. Is that what
you do because otherwise you end up with sort of weird edges that don't cook all the way through.
Okay. And you do want to put it in hot oil.
Yeah, you do. Put all your ingredients in.
So we just want to dump it on into a mixing bowl.
Basically, well, a bain-marie, half a cup of cocoa powder, a cup of hoisin, and this is about 3/4 of a cup of miso, say a cup of red wine vinegar, possibly 3 or 4 cloves of garlic, and then the very difficult part of blending it all together. And if you don't have one of these things at home, it's the most useful tool you can possibly own. I'm going to throw some jalapenos and some bird chilies in.
So you're not using all those jalapenos?
No. And the idea is to balance. It's a balancing act of the sweet and the salty, because the miso is salty and the hoisin is pretty salty, and then the peanut butter is, has that sweet overtone, and then the cocoa is bitter. It's really thick. I'm going to add some water to this, just to make it, because ultimately you want to have enough liquid to cover your ribs.
So you just add water as you see the consistency.
Yeah, you want it to be sort of pouring consistency, almost like you see how it's almost like hot chocolate?
It looks like hot chocolate, exactly.
And so
it's even got the bubbles.
It does, because of the hand blender. Cinnamon stick, star anise, and cloves. If you feel up to it, you can always chuck more garlic in. So after an hour and a half, we're going to pull it out. And voila.
Oh, the smells.
And then we generally serve 3 or 4 pieces to an order, and it's quite rich. The acidity from the pickle cuts it very nicely. Yeah. And then I always sort of just throw it on some scallion threads for a garnish.
You could get some of these slices out of scallion lengthwise. Certainly
see?
not high.
And some peanuts. And that's it.
It's just delicious. It's incredibly rich. I'm talking with my mouth full. It's very good. Excellent.